One of the BBC's biggest shows
pulled the rug a little bit from under the BBC.
Claudia is poised to get her own BBC chat show.
Where is Claudia? She's in a castle up in Scotland.
Yeah. Hi guys, this is Cut to the Take.
And today we're talking Claudia Winkleman and Tess Daly leaving Strictly.
Claudia Winkleman, Tess Daly, leaving Strictly Come Dancing.
I mean, that is pretty big news.
Yeah.
That's huge news.
I think the thing that's interesting about this, obviously, interesting that they're leaving, but what is more particularly interesting is how it was announced. So Claudia Winkleman and Tess Daly, for those of you who don't know, have been the presenters of Strictly for what feels like an age. Tess Daly has been there since the beginning. Claudia Winkleman, I think, joined about 10 years ago.
Yeah, Tess Daly's been there for over 20 years, right?
Yeah, she joined it when it first started. So they are, the fixtures of this show.
They're very much pillars of that show.
It's one of the BBC's biggest shows.
Yeah, it still does really well for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in a scenario like Strictly for the BBC, they have, they've got internal publicity teams and, internal marketing teams and all of that. And the showrunners and everything they're constantly having conversations back and forth between the BBC and the production company that make it. And something like Claudia Winkleman and Tess Daly leaving would be something that the BBC would want to get out ahead in front of.
Absolutely. And I feel like, yeah, definitely.
So what happened, Claudia Winkleman and Tess Daly announced it on their Instagram just on a Thursday morning, and the BBC hadn't put out a statement.
Interesting.
It then took the BBC around 2 hours before they put out a statement. And now there are some sources that are coming out reportedly saying that the BBC were pretty much blindsided by this announcement.
Oh, interesting.
Which I think is, interesting.
I think it is interesting because, like what you say, like historically, when large, presenters, big presenters at the BBC leave, there's always a press release about it.
Yeah.
Always a press release.
There's
what I mean?
probably an exclusive with, an industry paper or a normal, a big paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
About the announcement. It's also very much planned. It felt a little bit like, it just felt like they were just announcing it. To announce it on their Instagram as well doesn't feel like the way the BBC would go about normally doing something as big as this.
Yeah, definitely. Feels like Claudia and Tess pulled the rug a little bit from under the BBC.
Yeah, but I don't want to, I think the thing that I'm conscious of is I don't want to say that they did that because they've had this long-standing relationship with the BBC for a really long time. It would feel very strange to me if they had genuinely blindsided them.
Yeah, and tried to jeopardize the relationship. I mean, let's not forget, Claudia is on, it leads the biggest show on the BBC, in The Traitors.
Well, yeah.
So it's like you wouldn't want to do anything that damages that relationship
and
either.
Also, they've been in the industry long enough. They know what they're doing. I don't think they would do something like that,
No.
which is why I think it's really surprised me that this is the narrative that's being spun, that they basically like blindsided them and, that's the power of the presenters, because it also just doesn't feel like something that you would do to essentially an employer who you are also currently in a contract with.
Yeah.
Now, whether the fact that the BBC, press release didn't come out until 2 hours afterwards, maybe that was just they got the timings wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But then again, we don't know. This is all speculation, right? I just think the narrative that this has been spun and like this is, they've gone rogue.
Yeah,
just doesn't feel like what you would do.
Yeah.
In regardless. And also Deadline this morning announced, it is currently Friday morning when we are filming this, Deadline this morning revealed that Claudia is poised to get her own BBC chat show.
Oh, interesting.
So if you're leaving Strictly to go and do a chat show with the BBC, why would you mess up that relationship or do anything that might potentially be
damaging,
difficult.
To partners that you're going to, ultimately, she's going to continue working with these people.
Exactly. And also they're professionals. I just don't see it.
No.
I just don't see it in that way.
No. I mean, hearing that now, maybe it sounds like, Claudia's given a long time, and Tess Daly, they've both given a huge amount of their careers to this show.
Yeah.
And maybe now it's just a time where like, oh, look, we think, we want to almost reward you and we think you do really well with your own chat show.
Yeah.
So for Claudia, it's like, well, yeah, I'd love to have a show where, I am the main person.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think, to be honest, what's happened is there's just been a comms mismatch. I think that's all that's happened. It's been a timing mismatch. I think they probably had a conversation with a few people, but then it's more of an exciting story.
Yeah, it is.
If they pulled the rug out from underneath the BBC.
Yeah.
So of course that's the one that, you're going to run with. But the reality of it, and I might eat my words, but I just doesn't feel like something
it
that
should have been, where is Claudia? We know where Tess is. We found her, but where is Claudia? She's in a castle up in Scotland.
Yeah.
Trying to get these faithfuls to do a better job. That's where she is. They know where she is.
Exactly. But I think the bigger question, regardless of them leaving or how they left or all of that, is what is going to happen to Strictly and who is going to take over their role?
Well, who would you like to see take over their role?
At this point, Alan Carr.
Alan Carr.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't see that happening, but I think that would be fun. I don't know. I was thinking about this. Eurovision. Hannah Waddingham did Eurovision.
She did, and she was really good.
And she was really good at Eurovision. So I feel like Eurovision moving to Strictly, it feels like it's not necessarily that far of a leap.
Yeah.
AJ Odudu, she's big.
Yeah, she could do it.
And she's doing lots, and she was also on Strictly
but
previously.
But she's ITV, isn't she?
She is ITV.
Which, the crossover, I don't know. She's on a big ITV show, who knows?
Yeah. I think for me at the moment, I think Hannah Waddingham is definitely somebody who I feel would fit pretty well into that world.
Agreed.
I don't think Alan Carr, although that would be fun.
I would just love to see Alan Carr do it.
Or Joe Wilkinson.
Yeah. What if Alan Carr and Joe Wilkinson did it together? Yeah.
That would be
It'd just be
funny.
like, I loved the spinning.
Yeah, I know. I could see Holly Willoughby coming back.
Okay, interesting.
To presenting a bit in something more
a big show.
A big show. Yeah. I could see her doing, because she did Dancing on Ice.
Yeah, but ITV though.
I know, but she did Dancing on Ice.
There.
I feel like Hannah Waddingham and Holly Willoughby.
I think that is a good shout. Yeah, they would suit it, I think.
Yeah.
I think they'd suit it really well.
I could see that. I think that's going to be, who would you say?
Yeah, no, I agree with them. Look, from a dream scenario, it would be Alan Carr and Joe Wilkinson for me, That's who it would
Fair
be,
enough.
Let's get the funny people on there. But then it's like, from the world of dance and, theatre, I don't know.
Yeah. Or what about Alison Hammond?
Alison Hammond. Well, she's already on the Bake Off.
Yeah, I know.
Look, we love Alison, okay?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
She can't do everything.
She can't do it all. Her schedule's packed already.
Do you reckon if you got offered Strictly and you were on Bake Off, would you leave Bake Off to go to Strictly?
Yeah. The tents aren't that far from each other, I've heard. The tents and the ballroom, yeah. You just nip over. But she'd just be like, oh, sorry, I'm just on my way.
Very funny. It's two very different types of shows.
What would be amazing if Alison, and I could see her doing this, being like, I just felt like it was slightly underdone, the dough. Yeah. And they'd be like, Alison, you're on Strictly. I meant the dance.
Yeah,
I meant the dance was slightly underdone. Yeah, I could see that. But yeah.
Oh dear, I think it's going to be definitely interesting because they're staying. So Claudia and Tess are staying until the end of this series.
Okay.
Which ends Christmas, December, around that time, and then it's going to be a whole new show essentially, because Tess and Claudia are like the anchors of that show, at least for viewers, I'd say.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
and it's hard, isn't it, when you lose such anchors after such a long time?
Yeah.
That sort of replacing process. I mean, we saw it historically with famous shows like Top Gear.
Yes.
Sometimes you can never get back to it.
No.
It's really hard to replace those cast members, those core team members.
Yeah.
Because ultimately fans follow people they love,
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting as well because Claudia's like a bit more, she's always been mainstream, but she's really on our screens all the time.
She is, yeah.
And, especially at the moment with her leading Traitors,
Celebrity Traitors.
So she's Traitors, she's Strictly. If she's then doing a chat show as well, I think they need to have someone who is of her caliber in terms of audience familiarity.
Yeah, she's clearly well loved by audiences.
Yeah, so I feel like we need to, have somebody who is in that vein come step back into
Maybe Alison Hammond is the one.
Yeah. But I feel like Hannah Waddingham could do it.
Yeah,
I feel like she'd be really good. She'd be
charismatic, from like a theatre acting background, gets it.
And when she did well at Eurovision, she
was really good.
You could see she's good at presenting because it's difficult. Not everybody can do it.
100%.
Not all actors can do it, and so the fact that she did it and she can sing and
exactly, and she did it really well.
Yeah, I feel like
that's where your vote's going. I feel like that's where it's going. Okay, Hannah, if you're here.
I'm on the campaign for Hannah to get it if she wants it.
If she wants it, yeah, who knows? We need to speak to her still. Tune in next week.
That would be amazing.
That would be cool.
Thanks, guys, for listening. That was Cut to the Take. If you enjoyed this, make sure to click on the other videos in the playlist. Otherwise, you can go and watch our Celebrity Traitors playlist, which is a new series that we are doing whilst the show is airing. Or you can also watch the full episodes of these podcasts in the other playlist on our YouTube channel, or as always, on wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for being here. Make sure to subscribe and like if you did enjoy this video. We will see you next week. Bye.